Traders, it's 11 o'clock a.m. EST, time for Mike and me. How you doing, my trading warrior brother? How's it going today?
Rearranging.
Okay. I just want to cover a couple of things on yesterday's video. I said I was looking for a new high in US dollar yen, and that I'm looking for a top to sell into late this week, early next week. That looks to be in gear. The euro is under a lot of pressure, better hold here. Yesterday, I thought we could get to 107 before we broke, but it aborted yesterday at 106.40, so never got there. Long-term viewers know that, just like I said, I wouldn't talk about the short side of gold after it got near 1800. The same thing stands true once the euro gets down to 102,
right,
and the Dixie gets down up to 109-ish, I'll be working the short side of the dollar for I think a few years. And then, Mike, I know I want to ask you about this, but I'm getting some questions on Twitter about gold, and people know I called the decline. They want to know if they have the all clear to buy it. It was one heck of a rally, but my RSI work says no, this is not the bottom yet. Markets rarely bottom with a sub 20 RSI on the daily. But if we head down, you could get a higher low and then go again. But if we wash out one more time, I have it, this line comes in around 1780. The RSI will diverge, okay? So we'll have some divergence in the RSI, and that's a back up the truck level for me, is the 1780 level. Same thing is true for silver. Silver is actually weaker. The gold silver ratio looks good, which means gold's going to outperform. I'm looking for $20 silver when gold's under 1800, and both of them will be a buy. So that's where I'm at on the metals, bro. I want to ask you about
first of all,
shorts. Gold shorts you took.
Hold on a second. Let's go over the personal phone call that I called you up at 3:50 p.m. Eastern, and I said, Coach, because I trade a little RSI. I don't really trade contra. I was playing more rotation. No more on trades off RSI. I hate to be dramatic because they probably tend to stay stretched on either direction longer than your trade will, and the biggest moves are made at the end.
I've experienced it.
Okay. So have I. And by the way, if you didn't talk me off taking a little GFI, you want to punch up your chart?
Yeah.
Boy, Coach, how did this gold's not even close to where it was, and that GFI is a lot higher? How does this make sense?
Yeah, GFI, you shorted the strongest one on the board.
Oh, that's because
maybe it has something to do with the dollar.
No, it has to do with It has to do with this rally, no matter where across the board, has something to do with having to do a short squeeze. GOLD is not even. They're not even close. The rest of them.
Well, look, here's Newmont, different looking chart, lower high. Here's GDX, and these are the blue chip miners, lower high. That's what I'm saying. Tim would probably fire you for shorting the strongest miner on the board, or at least send you to detention for a few hours. Okay, but anyway, I'm saying there are weaker ones. Look at this one is heading down, I think, to about 250. GFI, so you know what GFI tells me? It's going to be a great one to buy on a break, that the lows are most likely in for GFI. So now if you get some type of pullback to, say, 11.5 or so, especially if GDX is making new lows and the others are making new lows, and GFI is holding up here, Goldfields is holding, this low, which I think it will. This is the one to get long. That's a heck of a pop on the gold, taking out these highs. It's the only one I see that's done that. So
you know what? That much
short squeeze.
That's correct, because look at Goldfield. Look at the left side of your screen individually. At the left side, what it did in beginning of April or end of March, all the way left.
Yeah.
Comparing, do the same thing. Compare that to Newmont or GDX or even the triple ETF Nugget.
It led. It's a leader. So this is a great message. I'm glad you called our attention to it, because now you really have something to focus on. If gold does wash out one more time and we put a higher low in GFI, that's going to be a nice trade being wrong under the lows. But most of the other ones, you know, are still look like they could make new lows. Here's the silver. These are the juniors. They're going to make new lows. They've been weak. This one's been weak. So all the silvers are weaker than the gold stocks, and I'm looking for that to change. Here's Fortuna, you know, looks like it came out of the wedge. I'm looking for about 250 to start buying. It could happen in the next week or so. So anyway, that covers gold and the dollar. I guess the only other thing to cover is yields, and this is very important. TLT left an island. I don't know if we're going to get one more shot down. It may put a bottom in, and this will tie in with looking for a top in the yen because it's yield sensitive.
Mhm.
So it looks like yields, maybe the worms turned. We're back under here. Tough call, but I certainly would not be short TLT anymore. I'm looking for longs.
Yeah,
I may have
I wouldn't
missed it.
argue.
I may have missed it, but I'll tell you what, if I get one more low like this, maybe we get one more low in TLT, one more low in gold, because they're very closely related for the trade.
Well,
They're
note
kind
that.
of
That's a
like
good point.
risk off, havens. They have that in common.
We
So
have a we have a question from one of our followers, Coach.
yeah.
Uh, Gold Junior to follow. Junior
Uh
minor. Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Uh this one, I don't know if it's a junior. I know this is a junior. Orla.
How about
I
no?
don't
How about GDX?
GDXJ.
GDXJ?
Yeah,
GDXJ.
yeah, that's your ETF
Yeah.
on that. But I mean, there's so many out there. You know, there's a lot of pennies out there too.
Yeah,
So
but you know what? Most like some equities today, even some of the gold stocks are bifurcating from themselves. Example, GFI as opposed to GOLD. So I know there are a lot of cheap ones. Maybe the question is, if you're just looking to play gold in general, would you start nibbling with some broad ones, or maybe just take a position in junior minor, a gold junior?
I would wait. I wouldn't buy him here. I'd wait for at
Yeah.
least a pullback in gold to about. There's a gap.
Okay.
So if the bulls, if you want to buy this
Pardon me.
dip in gold, this is where you do it right here. So it was a gap up on the war. See it here. All right, so we have this gap. So I do expect some, buying to come in at 1840. We'll see if that could generate another big rally or it's just a temporary hold. So, I mean, even this 1840 and 1885 measures 1800, 1795.
Yeah.
So this is where I would try the long side of gold
A
if you
point
want
to
to
be
do it.
taken here, Coach, is that these moves, although some not as fast and dramatic, they're giving you trades and they're giving you also things to think about. These are, it's a long. So whether or not you're short or long term, there's price action, there's movement, there's volume,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of this tremendous rotation. I'll point that out in a second. Believe me, I won't forget.
Okay.
So there's always, there are things to do, and that's where really TGH is stands out right now, because their high level opinions across a lot of things that are going on right now. Everything from geopolitical, which Coach, I mean, it has not only that's his forte, but he brings on other high powered guests that know that Coach talks that way. So birds of a feather flock together. And if you go back to our coach, to our guests, a lot of Coach's guests are, macro, geopolitical, fundamental, and that's what I try to condense it down and trade. And that's what TGH is giving to you right now.
Okay. I just want to point this out. We talked about it Tuesday, that 480 and then you look left, you got 480. And I'm thinking there is a possibility that we're not going to make a new high in NVIDIA, and this could be a right shoulder. Okay. If it's a right shoulder, you short it, you're wrong over the highs. You really don't have a signal till it breaks down under 410. And we could blow to new highs, but I'm just saying that be open to the possibility, because I mean, S&Ps are already, they got to, 4,400, almost to the daily 50 that comes in around 4412. And I know the melt up guys are back out there,
I'm
and
in it.
they could end up being right. I think this is, I'm going to look to be short. One of my candidates will be Amazon, which is trying to fill the gap right
It's
here.
fair.
Okay. I look at the 4 hours, so I did some fib work here, and we're halfway back right now. But maybe we have, 137, 61.8, something like that in here. But I'm betting that this decline was real, and that this is correcting that decline, and we could have something like this once this rally terminates. So that's my view on Amazon. I haven't repurchased puts, but I look at the Jan 120s. Maybe you could pick them up for about $3, $2.50 in the next few days. And that's it. Apple's surprising me. It's doing better than I thought it would do, getting through 180. The banks don't look bad. They have earnings tomorrow, right, Mike? All the big
Yeah, they're coming
banks.
out. Yes, I'll post them after. Yes, I have.
Yeah, that's going to be a big deal. Okay, because you pointed out Citi quite some time ago, and we did have one more trip down, but the difference between like what I showed in gold with it
Mhm.
confirming the low, you have some real nice divergence here in
You do,
Citi.
Coach. You do.
It looks good. XLF, if you can't pick them, we'll see what it does in these moving averages. But and
It's
here's your
JP Morgan. You want to
here's
take a shot, you buy the best. That's
that's
held up
it.
the best by far. You kidding
That's
me?
it. Yeah.
And you buy Citi because you know what? JP Morgan's best of breed and it's taking even amount of calls from short term, till maybe next January or even next March.
Yeah.
Citicorp been taking the calls for some time. So, I don't know if there's those are the two that are taking calls. You want to try to buy.
I know you like Tesla, but you know what? I'm not impressed. Failed at 270. It's having problems up here. It's very possible that we could just start rolling over and we get through 250. Look out. So I'm just
That's
saying it's
fair.
a crowded trade. It's a cult, and they need to be reprogrammed. That'll probably happen under 200.
I think they take some more profits in the video when it gets to
Okay.
500 and they roll it into Tesla. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
I'm in, and by the way, I'm in both.
And I'm watching Mux, which you brought up the other day, and this was a reverse split. That's why it's not a
I
dollar
got you. No, good
anymore.
coach. Thanks. Yeah.
But now I look at it. So what? Trade
No,
the
yeah.
chart. Trade the chart. You talked about it down here. I certainly wasn't looking for this kind of strength, but
Wouldn't have
may
bought it
want to
anyway.
may want to may want to buy this one. Maybe 650. Maybe this doesn't make a new low if gold does. That's another one. If gold makes a new low without Mux, that could be a good buy.
It
Anyway, I'm
is.
very focused on the dollar right now. The yen
Sure.
and the precious metals are my main focus now, and potentially a failing rally in S&P. That's where my head's at going into the weekend.
Okay.
How about yours, buddy? I'm going to give you the charts
All
because
right. Hold on a second.
I know that you've had a
No,
nice
no, no,
4 or
no,
5.
no. I'm just going by price act. This is the point I want to make before I get into
Okay.
anything in depth as we sign into
Okay.
TradeView Markets, who sponsors TradeGATEHub. I'll submit my preferences. I just check anything like the old days anyway. I just check anything just to get me in. We'll sign into TradeGATEHub again. Okay. The point I wanted to make, and trust me, I'll there you go. Look at this double action. I got to get that off there. There you go. We'll put Mike Me on there. So it's this, coach. Bottom, I don't, there are record, do you, I'm posting, first of all, hedge funds turned around. Now they're selling everything. They puked it out.
Yeah.
Whether or not we agree that hedge funds are still a record short positioning, by the way, gold, they evened out a little bit. They bought it.
Okay.
So that evened out a little bit, which made me think that I wanted to fade a little bit of the gold stocks just
Okay.
because they evened out and they're not as offsides as they were.
Okay.
Granted, I'm listening
Got
to
it.
what you, what? Sorry?
I would be breaking my promise if I shorted gold or miners here. I mean it. It takes time to change your mindset from being a bear to being a bull. I mean, long term. And I've been waiting for this for a year. So I don't want to get my head into trading the short side. I want to recondition my trading psychology for the only thing that matters to me is buying weakness in gold for the next couple years.
That's incredible.
And it'll be the same with the dollar. So, I mean, pretty close to some important inflection points. Maybe we're there by Halloween or earlier. So there's my favorite guy. Always wanted to idolize Gordon Gekko. Never had an office like that, but
I got one. Well, I don't have one. I don't have an office like that, but it's close. Look at the one. It's not bad. I mean, the other rooms are nice.
Yeah.
I have a nice. Listen,
I wanted to take that walk on the beach in the Hamptons and call guys like you up and say, Mike just made 800K in Hong Kong gold. This is your wake up call. Remember that line?
Not to be facetious, sometimes the big guy Tim might say that to me one day. He's got a nice house out there, and I'm here always in front of the computer.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's actually likely to do that too. Believe me, if I ask, listen.
That's right. He walks that beach. He will.
Okay. Bottoms form on bad news, right, Coach?
Yeah, usually, yes.
The non-farm payrolls number much higher than expected last Friday. Markets were down like 30, 40 handles. They finished up or whatever, 300 points. Nevertheless, the Nasdaq posted a legitimate and valid O'Neill follow-through day. Then surprising attack against Israel by Hamas over the weekend provided another gap down with gold and crude flight to safety. Crude's actually below where it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not for long.
Today's PPI. Okay. So tomorrow we have CPI, which was today. Now what's going to, I don't know if the third time is the charm. I know it's a little bit stretched. I get it. I still think everybody's under positioned. I still think there's a lot of shorts. I'm playing tactically. If I go to my screen here, there's plenty of rotation, which helps the bull thesis because, pardon me, have stocks like Home Depot breaking down 5 or 6. Lennar Home Builder now below. But then you have Nevada acting very well. You have Apple back up now above all moving averages. Testing, I get it's a trend line, but I mean certainly a back and fill here would be a little bit of. I wouldn't short it, Coach. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I was going to add, I'm not doing it.
All right, so and I'm having okay, so DaVita is giving back because it's a medical device maker, big deal. But I'm having other stocks like JP Morgan holding, Google, best of breed, multi months. So unless the bubble bursts, and I'm not saying it's not going to, the stocks that are working. CRWD.
Google's diverging. This isn't, but Google was.
CRWD were in it. ZS were in it. You know what I mean? What else? I'm trying not to look at my.
I want to comment on that news article, and it is very impressive how the market has rallied through all of this. There's one event it won't rally through, and that's if Israel launches punitive airstrikes against Iran.
So, okay.
Supported by the U.S. That is one news event that will be lower on, and you don't want to buy the dip. Okay, you want to sell the rip if you get one, because that's going to muddle up everything in the Persian Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz. I don't know, 30-40% of global oil travels through that strait. And, every recession, Mike, that since I've been alive and historically starts because of an oil shock.
I can't argue with that, Coach.
So we'll see.
I
We
know
could
that's
end
a
up with,
fundamental fact, and I know that's how traders. It's not the first time I've
yeah,
heard it. I get it.
we
But
could
you know
end up
what?
with
If
a
I was
shock.
waiting for the nuclear bomb, if I was waiting for
Yeah,
Russia to drop the
yeah,
nuclear bomb, I would have been wrong the past 6 months and missing a rally.
sure, you would have been like me.
Well, listen, I'm underweight too, but I'm not letting it go. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
trying to still take crumbs. I mean, well, not crumbs. I'm making some good moves. I'm not going to lie, but you know what? It's
but
where charts are going, not where they've been. So I'm trying to think that way.
and I know you think that the things I follow, like the Comet, I did an interview and said that the Comet, I know it's to you, it's silly.
I think
But you
I
know
think
what?
Tim would have a better reason firing you about the comet theory about me wanting to short a little GFI up here.
I don't know. I mean, the comets, the ancients believed it was a harbinger of war, and we had a war, and we have an eclipse coming too, and that's something Gann said is, look for reversals. So what I said Tuesday is still intact. Whatever is going up into this time window between today and Tuesday, I'm looking to short, and whatever's going down into that time frame, I'm looking to buy. And that's how I'm going to trade the eclipse. And I'll let you know if I get a pink sheet
No, listen. I know people that
from
no,
Tim.
I can't listen. I say I'm all the time I'm a Gemini. Does that? I mean, I'm being hypocritical. I mean, that's in this. Does that mean that I'm hypocritical? I've heard it. I guess I know some people use it, but the trading almanac was just a tool. That was like getting the Jag notes. Remember the Jag notes?
Oh, you mean the Farmer's Almanac?
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
come on.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Next.
I mean, look, they plant, but they use it for planting. So, and it's been around a lot longer than me and you.
Sure.
So there must be a reason for it. They're not, it's not like they're out of business like hundreds of newspapers. Anyway, what else are you looking at here? Are the oils? Wow,
Halliburton's my position. I love Halliburton here.
it
How could
looks
you not
great.
like Halliburton? Look at any of the drillers. Let's
Yeah.
look at Schlumberger. Hold on. Let's look at Schlumberger. Even slab. Let's look at oil. Even look at crude. Look at Chevron. Halliburton's my stock.
So
That's
there's rumor talks. I saw Nas El Haji, who I've had on here, talking about two of the majors talking about a merger. What is it?
PXD and Exxon.
Okay. He doesn't think it'd be good for the oil market. I don't know why.
Well, it wouldn't be good
And
for
I'll
the oil
read it.
market. I don't think it'd be good for oil prices. They probably jack them up now when they consolidate.
Okay.
No, that's what happens
Yeah.
when they consolidate. They
Yeah.
collude.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Nas is a very knowledgeable in the oil.
And I'll take that, and I take
industry.
that comment. Now I'll think about it. But the thing is, where do we leave here on, what we've talked about? We talked about the PPI. We talked about the war going into Monday over weekend. We're sitting here on a Thursday.
Yeah.
After another number. Coach gave a levels which I'm peeling off things a little bit. I don't not necessarily think I'm going to be waiting to buy the winners on the dip just yet. I'd like to see a little bit more confirmation with the overall market. People are tripping over a lot of stocks, like I told you, the same stocks to a degree. Like I said, Nevada, the SMCI, another stock like VRT, which got a little crazy this morning, actually traded it well, and it moved short of this VRT at the high. Yeah. 43.14, made a big move down to 42.39. I covered it. But you know what? It's still, I'm just playing a schnitzel. Does that mean that the top's in? I don't know, but
it does have glaring divergence. Look at the RSI in July compared to
you know what?
now.
That's what happened in A&F this morning. I don't even want to tell you what that thing did to me. Look at A&F. I was early.
Same thing.
Well, it was a coach. It was 63.
Yeah.
Basically 63.30. Now it's 61.30. You know what that last move of me being a half an hour early cost me the winner of making a big winner or having to wait a little.
Isn't that something? I know that.
It was the same as CCJ. The CCJ trade was right here with A&F. And now I'm not going to say A&F, but you know what? The rest of them are horrible.
CCJ still looks bad.
It does look bad.
It's like a flag after that first break. It's going
and to not taking any more.
It's going to 30.
Well,
for a major buy.
Coach, the calls dried up. They bought them into the end of the quarter. They pounded them every day. It was the biggest call buyer for 6 months.
Yeah.
Now it dried up.
30.
Maybe it is. See, look at UEC. Well, let's look at URA, the big one. I mean, that's uranium.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's 21.
maybe I might
Yeah.
even play the CCJ like it's an entity, but we'll leave it at that. So,
Okay.
I'm going to follow the call sweeps. We've had three, basically, exists the word exogenous events with
Yeah.
numbers. And so, as it, we're not, we are sticking to the theme. I want to
Yeah.
see option flow back up, and I want them to see playing weeklies to take advantage of some of
Right.
these exacerbated or bigger moves. I want to see Nevada pull back 1 to 2%, somebody bombing Januaries. You know what I mean? Or somebody, or Citicorp comes out with earnings and does a back and fill and finagles and has a range a little bit. Then they start bombing some more calls like they did previously. Those are the moves we really want to make, and the ones that you can make, and make good money on to take positions with. Otherwise,
Again,
we're here to trade actively and tactically. Coach is here to give you the macro view, the geopolitical view, and even the astronomical view with comets flying all over the place. So we're multifaceted here. All right. So until then, stay in the room. We're strong as ever, and we're going to keep going. I'm not going anywhere. Coach certainly isn't. So thanks for tuning in, and have a plan, Coach.
okay. Thank you, Mike. Let me know if you see any option flow in TLT. It'll
Always,
give me a
Coach. You
tell.
got it. All right.
All
Cheers, everyone.
right.
Thanks
So,
for tuning in.
all right. Have a great